Hi, it's me, Vicki Marie. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I always press the wrong button, but anyway, there you go. So I'm here now, and thank you so much. You can see there's quite a few of you here already. A few of you have liked already the video, which is brilliant, and somebody's bought me a coffee, I believe. So thank you so much. So that's what I just want to talk about. First of all, get it out of the way, the housekeeping, if you like. If you're watching this and you're obviously you don't know if you're going to enjoy it yet because I've only just started, but pressing like is a very is a free way that you can help my channel. It really helps me out if you press hi funky. If you press like, it really helps me out. I think there's I don't even know what super chat is. I think there is a super chat, but I have no clue. You can buy me a coffee. You can become a member for €1.99 a month, where you get some extra videos as well as obviously supporting my channel. But the most important ways you can support my channel is by subscribing, by liking the videos, and by watching the videos. And they are all free. And I appreciate every like, every subscribe, every view. Thank you so much. You know, I'm very happy the way the channel's going. So that's as far as that's concerned. The next thing I just want to say, because sometimes I think people don't understand my channel, what it's about. My channel, the clue is in the name. Yes, thank you, Angela. I got your coffee. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much. My channel is called Vicki Marie Chats. The idea of my channel, I mean, I cover a lot of true crime cases. I especially focus on the victims. I probably gravitate a little bit more towards female victims of stalking and domestic abuse, just because of experiences I've had in my life. But I try and, if you look on my channel, you will see I do try and balance it. I've probably only done one so far where it was a man stalked by a woman, but I'm aware that, women aren't blameless. Women do bad things too. I know that. It's just that it's not so common. It's not so common. And I like to highlight the victims, especially rather than the perpetrators, and especially victims of coercive control or of domestic abuse, etc. Hi, Jill. So I just want to make it clear, though, that I am Vicki Marie Chats. I am not Vicki Marie Forensic Analysis. I'm not here. If you want that, you have to go to CSI channels or something like that. I'm here. To me, when I'm here with you, it's like we're chatting. I've got a drink here. I hope you've got a drink, a coffee, a tea, or a vino, or wine, as we call it in Spain, or whatever you've got. I've got a pink tonic tonight because I don't like to drink before I go on air, because just because I could sort of like I chat enough as it is. So if I had too much to drink, it'd be even worse. Sometimes I have a drink for confidence. Oh, Lucia from the US, Jennifer, hi, Jackie Taylor from the UK. It's funny, isn't it, when you're on, because I do a lot of I do Spanish classes as well, and I do them on Zoom, and you wave, like it's quite funny. Oh, Mia, hi. So yeah, let me know where you're from, because it's always interesting. It's great to see that this is the miracle of the internet, isn't it? The internet's got a lot of bad things about it, but the miracle of the internet is that we can talk to people all over the world. We can connect with people all over the world, people like us who think like us. Yeah, we get some trolls here and there. So going back to trolls, sometimes people come on my comments and they say things like, well, what evidence have you got for that? Well, my answer to that is, what evidence have you got that that's not true? Especially in this Nicola, hi, Gloria. Hi. Oh, Mia's from Devon. Do you think Gloria asks, do you think we'll ever get justice for Nikki? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So, yeah, some people will say to me, well, do you have evidence that police let Nicola down? Well, do you have evidence that the police didn't let Nicola down? That's how I would answer. If you don't like the way I conduct my channel, that it is just, to me, when I'm on this channel now, I could be sat with my friends in having a coffee, having a drink or whatever. We're chatting. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's not, I'm just not the sort of person I'm not even good at timelines and things like that. This is who I am. If you don't like it, that's fine. But then you can go and watch another channel that does maybe deal with things like that if you can find one. But, and especially in this case, hi, Gloria, you're saying morning. So I'm presuming you must be, Gloria's saying good morning. You must be from America, I presume. George is on there saying Paul did it. Well, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. So I think as time's gone on, all these things that I say tonight is the way I feel. I don't have evidence because we don't have any evidence for anything. We don't have evidence that Nikki, deleted herself. We don't have evidence that Paul did anything. We don't have evidence that Emma was involved. We don't have any evidence of anything because everything is just hush hush at the moment. So if you want to show me some evidence that what I say or what I feel, it's not what I think is necessarily true, and I'm not trying to make you think the same as me. I'm telling you how I think. Just like when you start chatting with friends, you say what you think, they say what they think. You don't have an argument about it. You just sort of discuss, don't you? So this is where I'm going. So yeah, if you don't like that sort of speculation, that we're not supposed to be speculating, but nobody tells us any concrete facts, so I don't really see what the other option is. If you don't like that, you should click out and you should go and find a channel that doesn't speculate. I mean, I was thinking about it today and I thought, really, it's only YouTubers at the moment and social media that are allowed to say anything about this case anyway. So the police can't say anything. Anyone who's involved in the case, the witnesses and etc., maybe even the family and PA and Emma, they've been told not to say anything. But we can say things because we're entitled to our opinion. We're entitled to our opinion, as is anyone who doesn't agree with that, who thinks there wasn't any foul play. You are in the minority, but you have the right to your opinion. I wouldn't criticise that in anyone. Oh, North Country Girl is from Manchester. Which part of Manchester? I'm from Manchester. I'm from the south of Manchester, Charlton cum Hardy. I don't know where you're from. So, right. So I've said that. What else I wanted to remind people the name of my channel is Vicki Marie Chats. We're having a chat. I'm not accused. Well, I sort of am accusing people, but I'm telling you what I think. But I'm not really accusing them. My opinion doesn't matter. I'm just a YouTuber. That's the police that have to sort that out. They have to get the evidence. Well, I'm telling you just what I feel from the evidence that I've seen. And I'm going to explain about that here. Oh, you're from Salford. Ah, yeah. Yep, I know Salford very well. Okay, so let's get on with it then. So yeah, I've been thinking about, obviously we've still got 6 weeks till the inquest. 6 weeks from Monday. So come this Monday, we've still got 6 weeks after that before we'll get the inquest, the results of the inquest. I personally think that's not normal. I honestly think that's not normal. So we've got to wait all that time. Still, we've already waited probably 6 weeks. Now we've got another 6 weeks. Nothing has been released. Nothing, not the cause of death, not anything. Whereas what I've noticed is other cases that have taken place during the time that Nicola was missing causes of death have been released. Things have been released, maybe not the whole thing, or maybe we're not entitled to know all the facts. But my personal opinion was that a public inquest that's held by the coroner, it is for the public. These results will have to be released sooner or later. And obviously the coroner has asked for nobody to comment during this time, but it's unusual. Now, whether it's unusual because of the public interest. Now, I want to remind you that during one of the police press conferences, Rebecca Smith said she had never known anything like it, the degree of public interest in this case. And I think that's significant, because I think the reason for the degree of public interest in this case is the mystery surrounding it. No, I get a few comments from people who think there was no foul play, or there's no, but do you know what is so much in the minority? If you think of 100% of the comments that I get, so probably 5% of them, if that, are saying that they don't think there's anything mysterious about this case, that there's something wrong. Things don't add up. Even the police themselves, they've changed their timelines. They've changed what they say about what witnesses there were and who saw Nikki or who didn't see Nikki. It's changing the information all the time. Information disappears. Information that was there before. And if we didn't think, some YouTubers have thought enough to sort of record it at the time, and now they're saying, oh, hang on, this is different now. This is not normal. So there is something abnormal about this case, whatever anyone says. You can sort of shout at me and say, oh, no, it's rubbish. I don't care, because there's something different about this case, because it's not normal for the public, and not only the public in the UK, but public all over the world, to engage so much and to be so concerned about this case, or so convinced that there's got to be something in it. I can see from your comments coming out, it's all, why did PA do this? It just doesn't add up, does it? It doesn't. And I'm not going to give a definitive answer tonight, because I don't know. I'm just going to say what I think happened and the reasons why I think it happened. I mean, I have reasons, but I don't have evidence. It's the police's job to find the evidence, not mine. So I sat down today and yesterday and today to sort of prepare for this video. I watched all my videos. I watched a load of other people's videos about it, and I was thinking, oh my God, it's just so much. I mean, really, what other case? Perhaps when Madeleine McCann disappeared, but I think that was a different age. I mean, that was 20 years ago. Remember the age we're living in, where YouTube is so popular and social media is so popular. It is just, I don't think I've never known anything like it before either. So Rebecca was right. Rebecca Smith, the detective in charge of the investigation, she was right. There has been nothing like it before. And I think it's caught the police out. They haven't known how to deal with it. And they might have been cleared of whatever that last load of rubbish was, that was decided that they didn't do anything wrong on the welfare check. But there were a couple of points that need to be addressed. So now we're having a review, and we've got to wait till October. I mean, this is just shite, making us wait all the time. Wait till June, wait till October. That is just wrong. It's wrong. That somebody needs to sort of just get in there and say, look, we're going to sort this out. But anyway, I do think the police let Nicola down. They let her down on the welfare check. We still don't know what happened that night. I'm presuming it will come out at the inquest. But will it? And then there's rumours about other times where there was some incidences, but we don't know any of it, because they're not giving us the official. If they would give us the official information from them, everybody wouldn't be speculating about it all the time. Hey, Maya. Yeah. And what Jackie just says that nothing adds up. It doesn't matter how you think about it. If you think there was foul play, if you think she slipped into the river, if you think she took herself away from this world, none of it adds up. And anyway, so I'm going to tell you the reasons why I don't think she did anything to herself and why I think it's foul play. But I don't know. This is just entertainment purposes only. As I said, this is just my opinion. Right, so let me think. Where do I start? Where do I start? All right. Now, let me just give a little shout out to another YouTube channel, because I watched on Crime Scene 2 Courtroom. I watched, he went around the actual scene, you know, and I really thought that was because I enjoyed the Sky News when they did the walk around the field, because it was good to see the actual scene. And he did a very thorough, and I think unpack, because some people do those things, they're so patronizing, I just can't stand to listen to their voice. But he did, so it was so unpatronizing, it was so objective, just showing the scene. And it that again gave me more ideas, or no, didn't give me ideas, it concreted the ideas that I already had, because even the theory I've got doesn't add up. You know, I can't make any of these theories work. But anyway, let me tell you about his video. So he does, you know, when you come to the bench, I'll put the link in description, and you can look at the video yourself if you haven't seen it already. But he does, you know, he does a very thorough walk around in that. And when he comes to the bench, and you've got the style, and you've got that way, you know, the way that it always seemed that Nicola went, or supposedly if she was ever there in the first place, which I don't think she was, but the way she went. But what I had never seen before was there's another little path going the other way that goes right alongside the river, where it would, to be fair, be easier for her to jump in the river from there, I think. And it looks a bit more likely that it might carry you off somewhere rather than actually the area at the bench. But that wasn't Nicola. That was not Nicola. That was it, and it was like a flash. That was Emma who went there, because it's so secluded. He says himself as he's walking along it, oh, it's very quiet here and nobody can see you. Because when I first watched that Sky News walk around the field, I remember thinking, well, how could anything happen without somebody seeing it? Because although it's probably quite a lonely place, I suppose, when it's freezing cold in winter, but it's very open. You know, it's very open. It's not hidden. It's not behind trees. Whereas if you go this other way that he walked down, it is hidden, and you could walk down there and nobody would see. Nobody would see you. And that's where I think Emma went, because what I think happened, I don't know how the actual thing was done to Nicola in the first place, but I don't believe that Nicola was ever walking Willow in that field. So what it was, it would have been Emma, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe one day I'll be proven to be wrong, and well, hallelujah, but this is how I feel. It was Emma. She was with Willow. This is why she makes a big thing of the ball. Like, oh, definitely no ball. There was definitely no ball. Well, no, she wouldn't have taken a ball, because the ball would have gotten on her nerves. She said that Willow had got really sort of irritating. She says that in one of her interviews, that Willow was so irritating about the ball that Nick had stopped taking it. Well, we've only got her word for that. I think there was no ball that morning, because Emma didn't want to be bothered with the ball, because she didn't want to attract attention to herself. She's trying to pretend to be Nikki. And Willow's just sort of running around that. She didn't want to be bothered with the ball. So then after, she's going, oh, no, definitely no ball. And, you know, loads of pictures, Willow's got a ball. And Nikki loved that dog. And I tell you what, dogs can be irritating. My dogs can be irritating with balls and things like that, but they love it. So because they love it, I will play with them with the ball, even though sometimes you just think, oh, I mean, one of my dogs, he literally throws it at you and hits you on the leg with it, to make you play with it, or he comes up behind you and presses it in his back of your leg, he's that sort. Come on, play with the ball. And although it's irritating, I still do it because I love him, so and he likes it. Anyway, so yeah, that's why there was no ball, because it wasn't Nikki, it was Emma. Emma's gone out. She looks so similar to Nikki. Now, what I don't know, or what I can't sort of get into my head of how it might have happened was, did it happen the night before? That maybe something happened and Nicola was no more, and then Emma. But then I think, well, surely if Nikki didn't take the children to school that morning, surely the children would have said that. Maybe it's more likely that she took the children to school, possibly, though I don't know that for sure. Now, as you can see from the police timeline, they're not convinced of that anymore. But let's say she did. Let's say she took them to school. Now, it was freezing that morning. Now, sometimes when the weather's bad here with my dogs, I'm just thinking I don't always take them for that long walk that I would take them if the weather's nice. If it's pouring down with rain or it's freezing cold, you just think, oh, just take them. And I presume they had a garden. I'd probably just let my dogs go in the garden and clear it up out the garden. We have a place where our dogs can go and do whatever they've got to do, and we just have to go and clear it up. You don't have to take them out for a walk. So maybe she decided, oh, I'm not taking them for a walk. I'm not taking Willow for a walk this morning. Maybe she went back home and that's where the problem started, or maybe the problem started the night before. That's what I don't know. And there's a part of me thinks that when Paul went to the river, did he have Nikki in the boot of the car even, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how he would have done it. This is why we're waiting for the autopsy report, isn't it? We need to know the cause of death. We need to know the cause of death before we can make any suggestion, really. Anyway, but I'm 100% certain Nikki was not there. There is no CCTV. Now, the other thing you'll see on that video that I was telling you about is when he tries to cross the road to go over to the other side, so the road that Nikki supposedly walked, oh my God, so many cars. There were so many cars he could hardly get over the road. Took him ages to get over the road, and he was saying, God, it was like took his life in his hands because there's no crossing, to go over. And that was at 3:00 in the afternoon or whatever when the guy did his video. So you telling me at that rush hour in the morning when people are going to school or going to work or whatever, all those cars that were zoom, whizzing past, not one of them had any dash cam footage, not one. Or according to what we know, unless there is some dash cam footage and the police just aren't telling us because they're not releasing any information. So there's got to be dash cam footage of that road on that day, and if Nikki walked along it, she will have been caught on that. And do you know what, the more I think about it, the more I realise she was not caught on that CCTV or not CCTV dash cam footage by any car. I mean, come on, out of all those cars whizzing past, at least one of them must have had some dash cam footage. I can't believe that none of them did. So there was that. And then the other thing is the way that everybody says that Nikki felt about Willow. There's no way that Nikki would have just left Willow roaming around the field, and Willow could easily have got over that stile. That's the one thing in that video that the guy says that Willow couldn't get over the stile. Willow could have got over the stile quite easily, but she didn't want to go over the stile because she wasn't bothered about Emma. Emma had gone off over the stile and up the little dirt track at the side where nobody could see her. But Willow didn't want to follow Emma. If that would have been Nikki, she would have followed her. And Nikki wouldn't have left her dog to do that because then that big busy road is just up the road from there. you know, as much as she might have wanted to delete herself, she would have made sure her dog was safe. I'm sorry, but she definitely would. So let's presume that she did, that she decided she was going to do something to herself. Is she really going to leave a dog to get squished on the road? No, she's not. So, or even the possibility that might happen, you know, you're just not going to do it if you love your dog. Oh, Joe H, hi Vicky. Sorry, hi Joe. You're saying to me, hi Vicky. Now, a North Country Girl mentions there that yes, apparently something that's coming out at the moment. Again, you know, I'm a bit reluctant because we don't know for certain until somebody says official, but they are saying now that she didn't answer her sister's message. You know, I don't know. Anyway, so it's easy enough to log on to a work call for somebody else to make it look as if, I mean, you look at that scene, the phone on the bench and the lead, and it's so staged. Even PA said that in his interview, didn't he? The decoy, it was all staged. Well, he said that because he wanted people away from the river before they decided to put Nicola back in the river. Now, again, this is my opinion, but it will come out in the autopsy, won't it? It'll come out in the. I'm sure the coroner will know how long Nicola was in the river, and so we're speaking a bit blind at the moment because we don't know the results of the until we know the results of the autopsy. It's very difficult to say exactly. So that's what, and then we see Emma, don't we, in her first interview, and she's got a cap pulled down and she's like hiding her face and speaking very quiet. And she doesn't want to be recognized. She doesn't want anyone to look and say, oh, she walking the dog the other day. She doesn't want that, so she's trying to keep a low profile. As time goes on, she starts to sort of, you know, come out of herself and take over completely. So I think, though, even at that time, wasn't it? None of us were thinking. Oh, I personally was thinking, oh my God, she's been abducted. You know, when I was watching it on the news, it seemed more likely that somebody has attacked her. Obviously, when you're a lone woman walking your dog in an isolated place, you are vulnerable. So that's how it looked, wasn't it, in the beginning? And then, of course, along comes Paulie with his big woolen hat on and his possible bruise under one eye that we don't know if it was a bruise or whatever. And along he comes and laughing, you know, or smiling. I mean, it just wasn't right. His demeanour, I don't care what you say, it wasn't right. So if he didn't actually do anything to her, he didn't really care that she'd gone. Maybe he was relieved. Maybe it's true that she had all these problems and maybe she was causing so many problems for him. He was thinking, oh, thank God for that. Thank God she's gone. I don't know. But he certainly wasn't the demeanour of a man that was absolutely desperate to, you know, get his loved one back. He never appealed for, oh, please, you know, Nikki, like, whatever's happened, we can sort it out. This is a big red flag for me, because to me, if your partner's gone missing and then we find out later that she's got these issues and that she's a vulnerable missing person, surely you'd be like, please, no, because at first you'd be thinking, oh, she's gone off, she's run off somewhere. Please, Nikki, come back. We can sort anything out. That's what her dad did. That was the plea that her dad did. You know, and that's normal. That's a normal plea. But no, not Paul. He didn't even refer to her, really. He never mentioned her by name. And the most significant thing for me was Emma was there. Why was Emma there? Why was Emma there on the riverbank? You know, why? What has she got to do with it? Why is she there? Why did she then, after having that very first interview, why did Emma then, you know, come out of herself so much and take control of the whole thing? What did she have? I mean, looking at them on the riverbank now, that I thought they're in a relationship. They're definitely in a relationship, because why would she take over so much? Why not Nikki's sister? So for example, with this, hello everybody, gosh, there's quite a few of you there now. I'm trying to keep up with it, but sorry if I don't reply to them, because I'm sort of losing control of it a bit. Nick says, do you think the police are scared of the inevitable backlash? Do you know what, Nick? I think on that day of that inquest, I don't know what they're going to do, because I think there's going to be a riot. You know, people were talking on Facebook about getting coaches down, which, you know, I don't agree necessarily with that, but if that's what they want, this is how strongly people feel about it. So I think there's going to be, if the verdict isn't, you know, we've got to accept the verdict, whatever it is. We've got to rely on the coroner and hope. You know, he seems like a sensible guy and everything. So we've got to, what else can we do? You know, sometimes people say, oh, you know, you can't take the police's word, but we have no alternative. We can't do anything until we know more. We can't. There's nothing that we can do. Yeah, treating every interview like an audition. Yeah. So what was I saying then? So, in my opinion, there is definitely something between PA and Emma, because there's no reason why she should have been so involved right from the beginning there on the riverbank with him. Why was she there? I mean, surely he had a friend he could ask. Why would, you know, why did she take control of everything? And the way she was even saying, she was talking like the police would speak. So she was saying things on the Dan Walker interview when she appeared like as if she wasn't really in her own house, like everybody had done their interviews in her house. And then when it showed her interview, it's like she was on Zoom, but in her own house. But it was all staged, wasn't it? That interview was all staged. And she even said, oh, you know, yes, we encourage people to ring whatever number, but please don't clog up the lines with false stories. Who the hell is she to say that? Where's the police? The police refused to take part in that interview. And I think that whole interview was designed to try and because he'd made such a balls of the first interview on the riverbank. So that interview was staged. Well, come on, we need to, you know, make it more like, you know, you actually care. And because he hadn't said, oh, there's hope. And the reporter had said, oh, well, you've always got hope. And ever since then, everything that was ever mentioned was about hope. So that interview was totally staged. So, and she was there, like, you know, every time PA wasn't sure what to say, because he is a man baby. I keep calling him that, but he is. You feel like he wouldn't even go to the toilet unless Emma told him to. And every time he wasn't sure, he's looking at Emma. Am I saying the right thing? He's controlling everything he says. Now, if you're innocent, why would you be controlling every word that comes out your mouth and your facial expressions? You know, why would you be doing that? You'd just be yourself, wouldn't you? You know. Anyway, that's my opinion. And there was a few other things that came up in that interview. Can I just say, there's people here that I'm probably missing that have come in, and I'm missing them coming in. Sorry. If I don't say hello, sorry, because I'm because every time I look across to the chat, I sort of lose the thread of what I'm saying. But don't forget to like this video, please. If you like it, of course. Right, so let's go back to that interview with Dan Walker. Oh gosh, well, so I think a lot of my subscribers have said the same thing, that our suspicions started. Nobody was suspicious until that interview on the riverbank where he smiled and he just looked a bit. It just didn't. We're not stupid. We get feelings off people. You can't. I've said this before in videos. Your intuition is important. Police rely on intuition. People rely on intuition for a lot of things. And our intuition, not just me, not just you, not just all those on chat, we we all felt it was off. So it can't all be wrong. People all over the world thought, hang on a minute, there's something strange about this. So, it wasn't just us. And yeah, he said so many strange. I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because he said so many strange things, but the things that stuck out for me at the time and later was, one, the dog didn't want anything to do with him. The dog was all over Dan, and he had to make the dog come to him. That dog doesn't like him. That dog's probably heard him and Nicola arguing a million times, is probably terrified of him. The other thing that struck out to me is because when he was asked to describe Nicola, and he called her a rock and a pillar of strength and that, which fine. And then later it turns out she's got all these vulnerabilities, but he didn't mention those vulnerabilities at all in that video, and he didn't mention them to Peter Folding. So they were things that needed to be known. We didn't need to know her medical history and everything, but he could have just said, oh, she was having a few problems and I'm really worried about her and blah, blah, de blah. And then it turns out later the police come out with all these vulnerabilities and have to come out and disclose her private medical records, which to me is disgusting. I'm still disgusted with that. Turns out apparently someone was threatening to sell this story to the media. I think it was that pseudo detective guy. I can't even remember his name, but I used to follow him on Twitter, but I don't now since he started sticking up for Oscar Pistorius. I just think, nah. So, but apparently it was him who was threatening to release these stories or threatening to talk about them on his podcast or whatever. And yeah, so the police had to make that comment about the vulnerabilities. But that was so ridiculous because obviously, if I sat here now and said something like that, you're just creating more interest, aren't you? She created more interest. She shouldn't have said that. I know the police at the time, they're trying to excuse why they've done whatever they've done. But as soon as you say to the press and the whole world that's riveted to this case, when Nicola had these vulnerabilities, of course people are going to want to know what they are. That's human nature. That's not ghoulish. That's just like, oh, well, what vulnerabilities? Because we do. Whatever anyone says, we do care about Nicola. That we do. And we want justice for Nicola. And it's not because... if there wasn't anything in it, we wouldn't be feeling the way we do. So that was the other thing I didn't like about it. And then, I think that when the police first went round, it may be even that welfare check call, it was almost like a way of sort of starting off this idea that Nicola had was planning to do this or whatever. And I think when the police were gaslit by Paul, this I really do believe this, and before they realised how they'd been gaslit, it was too late, because they'd missed so many opportunities to maybe collect evidence, etc. So they're like on the back foot a bit, so now just caught my eye then. What DW Bull? Hi, sorry, I hope you don't mind me saying your name like that, but that's what your name is on there. Says about a TV program. Do you know? I was watching something the other day, and I just suddenly thought, this is going to end up on Netflix. They're going to end up getting a Netflix deal if nothing is found out. It's like the murders or the Madeleine McCann, or they all end up on Netflix. I bet Netflix have already been in touch with them. I mean, it'll all depend on what comes out, obviously. There's the Chris Watts case, all these cases. Oh, God, maybe they've already been in contact with them or whatever. Who knows? And, I can see, what I can see happening is in a future date, and it will be a future date, it'll be PA and Emma becoming a couple. And it was all this that threw us together. Not that they were already a couple or that they were already having a relationship. It'll be what we've gone through with Nikki. It's thrown us together, and that's what it'll be. That's what it'll be. There'll be friends, but really in a relationship, and then sooner or later they'll come out openly and say, yes, we are a couple, but you know, it was all this that threw us together. So anyway, there'll definitely be a Netflix documentary about it, that's for sure. Right, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, so I think Willow didn't go over that style because it was Emma who went over the style, not Nikki. So Willow wasn't bothered about following Emma, because Willow could have got over that style as easy as anything. Yeah, and now this about the medical details. Why is it that they gave out all these details, you know, of a private medical history, but they won't give details of the welfare check? If we ask for details of the welfare check, it's like, oh no, you know, that's private or whatever. But her medical records weren't private. So it's just all bollocks, really. It is bollocks. And I think the police, you know, and I always try to think the best of the police. I think they were wrong-footed. I think they were completely wrong-footed by Paul. It won't be the first time that the police have been wrong-footed by, you know, aggressive men. But I think they were wrong-footed, and then now they don't know where to go with it. That's what I think. Right, okay. So I don't know about the busy road. That I think there probably would be some dash cam footage or whatever. Yeah, I don't like the way that Emma talks about the children. I don't like the way she talks about the children at all. I mean, she made there's a comment that she made recently. Let's have a look. See if I can find it on here. Oh God, I can never find things when I'm looking for them. That's the trouble. Should be there somewhere. No. Well, I don't know if any of you have seen it, but she made it's going around some of the Facebook groups. She made a comment on her, because there was a rumour a couple of weeks ago, wasn't there, that PA had been arrested. And those things are terrible. These false rumours are terrible. And she put on a comment on her Facebook. Why did she put the comment on? What has it got to do with her? Anyway, but she did. Oh, this is terrible. And imagine little minds. So she refers to the children as little minds. They're always like, and it's this mummy and daddy. How do you think they'll feel that their daddy and their mummy? You know, it's just the way she talks. It's so condescending. It's so those children. Whatever they say, I think sometimes the public cares more about those children, because Paul has used them on his GoFundMe page, or Emma has, or whoever's made that GoFundMe page. You've got your photoshopped photo of Nikki, the two girls, and Paul, like to try and raise money. You know, he talks about ghouls on the internet, etc. And he's the one who's doing that. He shouldn't be using his children like that to raise money. And as I think I've said before, the GoFundMe page is an interesting thing, because it still isn't going up. I've looked at it today, and it's still on around about £38,000, which is a lot of money, but it hasn't hardly gone up. You get the odd little £10 donation here and there. And normally in a case like this, you know, where if people believed in PA's innocence and wanted to support them as a family, you'd normally be a lot of donations, I think. So I think there's something, you know, people in chat are talking a bit about the, you know, there's all these financial sort of shenanigans, and they're so complicated. My mind doesn't work with numbers. You know, I'm a words person. I'm good with words, and I'm rubbish with numbers, and so I can't sort of really comment on that. When people talk about numbers, this sort of veil comes down over my eyes. I just can't help it. But there's definitely some financial problems that PA has had. But yeah, I think that GoFundMe page would be, you know, it'd be over 100,000 by now if people believe. People don't believe him. They don't believe him. They don't like. People suspect something. Now, are you going to say there are people out there who will say to me, "Oh, well, where's the evidence?" Don't need evidence to have a bad feeling about someone. You know, sometimes you have to just trust the way you feel inside. You don't always need evidence. And, you know, where's the evidence to say he's a good person? That's what I'd say. Where's the evidence to say he's a good person? I've never even seen a photograph of him with her family. You know, they who can say to me with evidence that he is a good person who treated Nicola really well? So before you say to me, well, where's your evidence that he's a bad person? The evidence I feel is just how I feel about him, his interviews. So he's not doing any interviews now. I don't think we'll see another interview from Paul, except maybe in the future on Netflix if they pay him enough money. You know, and then he turned around and attacked, didn't he? Like the Sky News and the ITV, etc., that he had voluntarily done an interview with. I mean, I wonder if he got paid for that interview with Channel 4. I think he probably did. I don't think he would have done it otherwise, to be honest. It wasn't an appeal, was it? You remember, like, people would go on Crime Watch or whatever and make an appeal over a missing person or whatever. Paul's wasn't an appeal. He never once looked at the camera and said, "Please come home, Nikki." I think he only mentioned her name once, but he mentioned Emma's name many, many times. So there you go. Yeah, so we're on a 6-week countdown now to the inquest. I will be making videos, at least one a week, about this. Obviously, if anything comes up, but even if it doesn't come up, because I want to, the other reason I want to do it, because it's been so long since we've, you know, all this was going on, wasn't it? And there were interviews and there were things that we could look at. It's been so long now. People start to forget. I don't want people to forget. I don't want people to forget why we were even suspicious in the first place. You know, there was a reason for it. There was a reason for it, and there's still a reason for it. And as far as I'm concerned, Nicola wasn't on the walk that morning. I don't know if they did commit foul play. I don't know how they did it. I don't know that. I just don't know. But they did it somehow. And whether it was if Nicola came home that morning and then something happened and then it was probably, "Oh God, you better get out and walk the dog," as if somebody's walking the dog. Or it could have been more planned than that. It could have been from the night before. I don't know, but something definitely happened. And for me, the best case scenario, if you like, as far as PA and Emma are concerned, that it was his treatment of her that drove. If Nicola did do it herself, and I'm wrong in thinking there was foul play, the reason she did it herself to herself was because Paul drove to it. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I don't feel, you know, maybe it was a mental illness, but what, are we going to look even further into I mean, her own family, her own dad, and that said the night before, you know, she'd closed this mortgage deal. She was doing really well. She was happy. She was planning the spa day with her sister, you know, so I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think everybody can't say, everybody's been silenced until the inquest. So this is, I feel like the inquest, I hope the police have got plans in place, because it's going to be a difficult day. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of people there. People will go. There's too many people that are interested in this case. People will go, and maybe they shouldn't, but they'll go because they're invested in this case, and I don't think it's going to go away. I don't know how the police are going to deal with it. And if she is found to have deleted herself, I think there'll be a riot. I really do. But we've got to wait. We've got to wait. More wait. So we've got to be patient. There's no choice. We've got nothing else doing. As I'm always saying, if it feels like this to us, how does it feel to her family? It must be absolute torture. So my heart goes out to her family, not to him. or to Emma, but to her family, my heart really does go out to them. Okay, that's it. Yeah, the Bad Fairy saying that Nicola's family look caring and loving. I think they look caring and loving as well. You know, I just look, everybody's coming up saying the same thing. There's the odd person on there saying, "Oh no, you know, this isn't true," and blah 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 blah. But well, maybe it isn't true, but we'll see. But why is that Mud Fossil Earth is asking what books are in your background? They're my books on learning Spanish, because that's my day job. That's what I do that's what I do when I'm not making videos about true crime, or I teach Spanish. I've been teaching Spanish for 25 years. So they're my books on learning Spanish. They are available on Amazon if you're interested in learning Spanish. But if not, fine. Okay, so I'll keep you up to date, anything that happens. But I just wanted to say, I just wanted to bring up again why we all feel like this. And I wanted to say how I feel. I feel there was foul play. I'm 95% certain, let's say, that it was foul play. And if it wasn't foul play, then it was something that happened that drove her to do, which she may have done. That's my two scenarios, but the thing, I think something happened, and I think something's going to come out, but I have been thinking that for quite a long time, and you know, every day that goes past, we're looking for news, aren't we? And we're hoping for a breakthrough, or that something will come out. Well, it might do. Still 6 weeks till the inquest, so some people say, "Oh, well, the case is closed." Well, if it's closed, why haven't they said that it's closed? You know, I just think it's hilarious that people say to me, "Well, where's your evidence?" But then they say things, they've got no evidence. So, well, you know, the case is closed. Well, they don't know the case is closed. None of us know what's going on. Only the police know. And they're not releasing information to us. So, you know, I've got just as much right to say what I think as anybody else does. But yeah, I see most people are agreeing. So, but yes, justice for Nicola. Let's see how it goes. Listen, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Now, if any of you like football, I need to tell you now, I'm a Manchester City fan, so I'm quite happy as far as football's concerned at the moment. So we may be champions of the league on Sunday, and we've only got to win one more match. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I've got a bottle of champagne ready just in case. But I don't know what you're all doing for the weekend. I hope you have a great time. When you remember. Oh, now I'm stuck. Yes, City, of course, City. Michelle, are you United? You're probably United. My son is a Manchester United fan. I don't know how that happened, because I've been Manchester City since I was young, and my older brother, who unfortunately has passed away now, he used to take me to Main Road to the matches when I was a little girl, and I've been a City fan ever since then. And for some unknown reason, my son ended up choosing Manchester United, but I think it was because at the time of he was growing up, obviously Manchester United were, you know, so successful. Not so much now. Michelle, I thought you might be United there. Yeah, I'm City, but do you know what? I would always support a Manchester team. So if it came to, I mean, obviously I want City to win things, but if there was a choice of United or any other team, I would choose United. Yeah, have a great weekend. And what's the most important thing? Remember to live and love carefully, wisely. Follow your gut instinct. If you think something's not quite right about someone, you're probably right. So always follow your gut instinct. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you so much. I'm really overwhelmed. A lot of people in the chat tonight, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.